Hello, my name's Mel, welcome to my world, and for those of you that are new to my channel, I'm currently turning this Mercedes Sprinter into an off-grid, go anywhere, sleep absolutely anywhere camper van. And today I want to talk about the width of this van and how I'm going to make optimum use of it, because originally I wanted a long wheelbase Sprinter so that I could have my bed the length of the van, but because this is a medium wheelbase I'm going to have my bed crossways. So to achieve this, I need to make as much use of the width of the van as I possibly can. And to do that, what I'm going to do, and I'll show you, I'll demonstrate, find my tape measure. Right, now this van is just about 2 inches under 6 foot wide from this panel to the other panel. But if I insulate it in a conventional manner, by putting battens down the side like this, I'm going to lose 3 inches. So I'm going to have 3 inches lost just by insulating it. So what I'm going to do, what I'm going to attempt to do, I'm going to try it anyway. And if it don't work, it don't really matter. I can always end up insulating it in a conventional manner. I want to cut these ribs out, both of these, because this is a nice big panel, right? So my bed's going to be level with this panel. I'm going to cut these ribs out. Then I'm going to use really thin insulation just on this panel and cover that insulation with auto carpet. And the insulation I'm going to use, oops, sorry about the noise, is DODO Thermo Liner, 5 metre roll. It was quite expensive, it was about £70 I think, but I'll put a link in the description anyway for those of you that are interested, because I always get asked. So this stuff is self-adhesive. I've got to get it out of the box. I've not actually taken it out of the box yet. Oh, there's a bill in there. Sorry about this. How unprofessional, mate. Oh god, my trousers are going again. I've lost weight. I'm on a diet. It's working. Right. £79 for this 5 metre roll, like 16mm thick. So rather than losing 6 inches, I'm only going to lose less than 1 by using this. And as you can see, it is actually made for this job. It's what it's made for. It's silver coated on this side. This silver goes on the inside, then on the other side it's self-adhesive. If I can get it out of the packet, I'll show you. Now I've not used this before, so this is all very experimental on my part anyway. I'll peel it back. There you go, you can see what it's like now. So it's self-adhesive. There you go. Yeah, it's fairly sticky. And I'm sure over time it will stick really well. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut some of this, put a big panel of this in there, and then cover that with grey auto carpet. And the grey auto carpet I've got, the postman's just been, by the way, which is very lucky. Oh. This stuff from a company called Vandalised. That's a cool name, isn't it? A bit like me, it's what I'm doing. Vandalised vans, turn them into campers. There you go, you can just see there, this looks like it's just grey auto carpet, and I've chose this colour because it matches the headliner. After all, a matching colours, haven't they? Oh, should have got a knife. Yeah, you get the picture. Let's see what it looks like. And this is 4-way stretch. Not that I need it for this, but when I go to do other stuff, I'll probably need it. But we'll get back to that in a minute. First thing I need to do is cut a piece of that insulator and stick it in place. But before I do that, I need to remove these ribs. But luckily, in good old Blue Peter fashion, I'll just spin you around. Here's one I did earlier. So I'm going to do this side first. Now you may also be asking, well, what about windows? Well, what I'm thinking is, if I insulate this panel in this fashion, it's going to be easier for me to cut a hole when I come to fit windows, because I do want to fit windows in the van, but not this time of year. Plus they're quite expensive, so it'll give me a while to earn a bit more money before I buy the windows and get them fitted. But if I insulate them with this stuff rather than the conventional manner, it's going to be really easy when it comes to fitting the windows in the spring. That's the plan anyway. So right, now I need to cut a piece of that, stick it in now, see how we get on. Well, I've cut my panel out and it fits absolutely perfect. And I've got to say it was a bit of a fluke, because I kind of measured it out square and then just marked it with a marker pen by eye, really. And as you can see, it absolutely fits perfect. So what I'm going to do, before I stick this to this panel, I'm actually going to use this as a template to cut out a piece for the other side as well, even though I've not removed the ribs yet. So yeah, I'm going to use that as a template. Now when I lay this flat, as you can see, there's quite a lot of creases in this, and I think it's because it's been rolled up. So I'm thinking glue it to the side and then leave it a couple of days, or a day maybe. Hopefully these creases will come out before I put the auto carpet over the top. So that's the plan anyway. Yeah, I'm going to leave it a couple of days and maybe it'll expand, the foam will expand and go back to its natural state, and these creases will disappear, fingers crossed, because I want it to look nice, because at the end of the day this is going to be like my headboard to my bed. My bed's going to be across there, and I will have a wooden frame going around this with regular insulation in these parts and a vapour barrier as well, but this part won't have a vapour barrier. This is the vapour barrier. Yeah, so it's a bit of a gamble, but we'll see what happens. But like I say, I'm going to use this as a template before I stick it to there. And before I stick this to that, I'm going to make sure this metal is really clean. I'm going to go over it with panel wipe or some thinners or something, just to make sure it's really, really clean. And I might even rough it up a little bit. But it's rough anyway. But yeah, so I'm going to clean that, rough it up a little bit, use this as a template for the other side, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this stuff will stick, because it's quite cold in here. It's really cold, and I don't know if it's going to stick to cold metal. Speaking of which, my diesel heater turned up from China. Now, well, it didn't actually turn up from China. I found a supplier on eBay that sells diesel heaters that are based in the UK. I ordered it last week and it just turned up this morning. So yeah, big thumbs up to them. What I'll do, I'll put a link in the description of this video to that diesel heater company. They're on eBay, so I'll put a link in the description to that company on eBay. Yeah. And then I think that'll probably be my next job. Wire up the diesel heater, get that fitted so I can get it nice and warm in here whilst I'm working. Right, on with the show, on with this. So I've cut my ribs out. Now I didn't film myself with the angle grinder cutting them out, because like I said in my previous video, I don't want to ruin my camera. You know, it's got a glass lens. If ever you've used an angle grinder near glass, you'll find that the sparks that fly off the angle grinder stick to glass like the proverbial to a blanket, and it's really difficult to get those little shards of metal off the glass, especially like windscreens and stuff. I've used an angle grinder in a workshop and totally destroyed a windscreen. It just got all these peppered bits of iron filings stuck to the windscreen. So from experience I know not to use an angle grinder when there's glass around. So that's why I didn't film it, because I just don't want to ruin my camera. Right, so that out of the way. As you can see, I've roughed it all up now and I've wiped it over with panel wipe. So what I need to do is make sure the panel actually fits. And then as long as it fits, because I use the other panel as a template, so theoretically, fingers crossed, it should fit. I can glue it on there. Let's just go and get the other panel. So here it is. So if I got this right, it should go that way. I think. All doing well. He says. Get them bits off. Right. So, there. Oh, it's a bit tight. That's perfect. It's a little bit tight actually. No, that'll be all right. Perfect. So now I've got to peel the back off and hopefully stick it in place. First start this end. I'm going to try and get this off in one piece. When I did the other one, it kind of split, it tore, and it was a real bugger to get off. I didn't film that because that was my practice, the other side. This is the, now I've had a bit of practice, I'll film it. Look at that surface, it's all wavy and dipped. I think ideally you'd want to unroll this and leave it for a day or two to let the foam expand and get rid of all those creases. Maybe, I don't know. It's just a suggestion. Alright, let's get that back somewhere there. On the bottom. There you go. Oh, where is it? It's a little bit oversized, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to have like a wooden, how can I explain it? Like a picture frame, maybe a picture frame with then the felt behind it, the auto carpet. But because it is all wavy and uneven, what I'm thinking in my mind is actually put a layer of like really thin plywood over that and then put the auto carpet to that, or maybe put the auto carpet to the piece of plywood and then affix that to that. That way it'll be nice and flat. You won't be able to see these ripples through the carpet. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Let's hope it stays there. So that's that. That's going to now give me, yeah, much more width than I would have had if I'd look at the tape measure. So that's going to give me much more width than I would have had if I'd insulated it in the traditional way. So let's see how long it is. Oh, I can't reach. No, I'm 6 foot. So there you go, that's literally 2 inches under 6 foot wide. So I'm really happy with that. That means I'm going to be able to lay across that way. Well, I'm actually 6 foot, so I might be able to stretch out, but it's certainly going to be a lot more comfortable than 5.5 foot. Those small inches make a lot of difference. Every inch counts, as I say. There we go. Just push that in, that's not quite in there. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Now, yeah, thinking about it, actually, it might be better if I did put a layer of like thin ply. Yeah, attach the auto carpet to the thin ply and then put the ply there and then put a frame around that, make it look nice and neat. And not only that, when it comes to cutting a hole in this panel to put the window in, I can simply take the ply off with the auto carpet and it make it a lot easier to cut this, because this stuff cuts really easy, whereas the auto carpet, I think if you try and run a jigsaw through it, it's going to snag and tear and all sorts. So yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll just put a piece of thin ply, cover that with auto carpet and then put that on there. Yeah. So there you go, that's a decision made. You see how I changed my mind? Make it up as I go along, pretty much. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. And it doesn't, and it's quite dead as well. I was worried the panel would flex and sound like a drum, but from the outside when I poke it, it doesn't. So I don't know if the mic will pick this up, but I'll hold it quite close. Listen to this. It's a nice dead thud. And then on this panel, you can clearly hear the difference. So that's the difference that insulation makes. I'm pleased with that. So now I've made myself this rather crude frame. It is a bit rough looking, but it doesn't really matter because it's not going to be seen. I didn't film myself making this because I wasn't quite sure how it was going to turn out. But I'd just like to mention that I used, for anyone that's going to try and replicate this, I brought some battens for my flooring. And these battens are 30mm by 25mm. And it just so happened the 30mm width for this is absolutely perfect to go between here and this insulation, and it makes a perfect frame. So like I said earlier, this is going to be a framework. I'm going to have cladding at the top. Well, actually there'll be a cupboard up the top eventually, but for now I'm just going to clad it down the sides, leaving this square portion like that. And the reason I've done this is because down at bed level it's actually 6 foot. 6 foot between now and the other side, which means my bed will be 6 foot going across, which is perfect because I'm 6 foot tall, right? So I mean, I won't be able to stretch out, but I'll certainly fit. I'll fit across ways, which is what I want it to achieve. So I'm really pleased how it's turning out. Now I will cover this up with auto carpet, but I'm not going to stick auto carpet directly to here because of these ridges. Plus, later on when I've got a bit more money, when funds allow, I can remove that panel so I can cut a hole in here and put a window there. I would like a window this side and that side, one of those oval windows that slide and open. They're quite expensive, so I'm just going to leave it like this for now until funds allow. And also the weather. So I'm going to use this bit of 3mm ply, make a panel to go inside that frame and stick a bit of auto carpet on there. The same as I did for my parcel shelf. That way it'd be a nice soft area to lean up against when I'm sitting in bed. And this is what the battens look like. It's all nice. It's a bit rough looking, I know, because the wood I use for these battens is actually the original ply lining from the van. It's what came with the van. I've just flipped it round. The dirty side is on the inside and cleanish side is on the outside. But it's good enough. It's good enough for battens. It's nice and thin. It's hardwood plywood as well, so it's nice and strong, and it'll do the job. And by using the thin plywood ply lining, it gives me that little bit of extra width as well, rather than using real thick battens. So that's why I do that, and it's free. It comes with the van. Otherwise, it'd only be going into landfill or the log burner. So there you go. All I've got to do now is put battens up. Now I was originally thinking about putting a cupboard up here, but because my bed's going to be here, I can really see myself hitting my head on the cupboard, and I don't think I'm going to need cupboards because I've got all this storage under the bed, plus I'm going to have a bench seat at the front. I think I'm going to have plenty of storage room, so I'm not going to put cupboards up just yet. I'll see how I go, see how I get on. If I do need cupboards later on, if I think, oh, I need more room, I can simply just put some cupboards up there. So that's the plan. Right, I'm now going to put my very first cladding up in this van. So here we go. This is what it looks like with the cladding on. It's nice. It looks really nice. And now all I need to do is make a square bit of plywood to go in there and cover that with auto carpet so it's nice and soft. When I'm sitting in bed, I'll have a nice soft area to rest my head against. So that's that there. Right. Now all I've got to do is measure that and make sure it fits. So there's the finished article. As you can see, it looks lovely. I'm really pleased with that. I'm chuffed how that's turned out. Now I do need to put some little tabs each side just to hold it in place. Maybe I'll put a little frame around it just to hold that back. But the reason I've done this on this piece of card is so that I can actually take it out when need be. I can get to that, cut my hole in the side of the van, put my window, cut a hole in the side of this maybe, and then put it back in. So I've made that panel nice and tight, so it is removable, so that I can put my window in now as and when funds allow. So there you go. All I've got to do now is the other side. So if you like this video, please do give me the thumbs up. Don't forget, if you are new to my channel, please do consider subscribing. But most importantly, leave a comment below and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra for now.